We're here for one reason tonight, and that is because lives in this country and around the globe continue to be devastated because of the criminalization of cannabis. Still in America, every minute, someone is arrested for a cannabis offense. Here in New York City, despite decriminalization, people are still getting arrested for low-level marijuana offenses, a vast majority people of color. And these aren't just statistics, these are our friends and family, many of us here in this room. They are the faces that you see on the screen, our constituents, and some of the people here tonight that you're going to be able to hear from. But I would like to share just a few brief stories of some of the constituents that we work with. Justin Graham, a veteran with MS and PTSD. After being honorably discharged from the military, he returned home and got his medical card for the medicine that he desperately needs. He was visiting family in Iowa and got pulled over for a broken taillight. The police found a pipe in his car with marijuana residue, and he went to prison. He was recently released, but because of his probation, he's no longer able to access the medicine he so desperately needs. Evelyn LaChapelle, another of our constituents, she was a junior in college. She simply deposited money in her bank account, never touched cannabis, never sold cannabis. She went to prison for 4 years. When she was ripped away from her family and her daughter, and she was looking at 7 years in prison, she almost lost hope. She contemplated suicide. But luckily, Evelyn persisted. And now, with the help of LPP, she's working to rebuild her life. Unfortunately, her co-defendant, Corbin Cooper, was not so fortunate. He's currently serving a life sentence for distributing cannabis. Before he was arrested, Corbin dreamt of being in the fashion industry, and he had finally saved up enough money to open his own storefront in downtown Los Angeles. That storefront is now a dispensary. Like many of our constituents, Corbin, without a grant of executive clemency, will die in prison. And that is the reason that we're here tonight. That is what we're fundraising for, these faces, these members of our community. All the money that we raise here tonight goes towards our cannabis clemency program, our expungement clinics, and our reentry program, where we work to provide educational and vocational trainings to help our constituents re-enter society and rebuild their lives.
Was a man from New Orleans named Bernard Noble, who was given 14 years for 2 joints of cannabis. He served 8 of a 14-year sentence. And luckily, during the time of making this film, he finally got paroled, and we were there to capture him walking out of that prison. And it was a moving and an amazing moment that you'll see in Grass is Greener. And the whole thing that I've learned being around like some of the people in this room and working with Raphael, it's, a little entrepreneurial activism has erupted. So we're developing a platform called Revolution to work with people that have been just done so wrong by this system. And Bernard Noble, we're releasing a brand for Bernard Noble so he could take care of himself and take care of his family. We're calling it Be Noble. And that's coming out real soon. He's one of those last prisoners, too many more. And it's just an honor to be here, to be down with all this flavor. Big up to the monkey is doing it. For real, it's really going on. So yo, we'll show y'all a little trail. If y'all didn't see grass is greener, check on the monitors and tell a friend to tell a friend.
And like a lot of California cannabis company executives, as we were leading up to 2018, I was asked to come to a lot of meetings in very tall skyscrapers with incredible views, conference tables that like went on forever, you know, that like probably cost more than many people's houses do. And I was in this one meeting, and we'd been around that table for hours. It was a really good meeting, right? And we'd all been like looking at spreadsheets, we'd been looking at building plans, we'd been talking about big cannabis moves and cannabis plans. Now, towards the end of the day, and my phone, of course, was on vibrate. I had it sitting on the table. We were all kicking back. Everybody was feeling pretty good, right? And my phone starts vibrating, and I look down, and I see that it's from my friend Chuck. My friend Chuck is in prison in Pennsylvania for 14 pounds of weed, okay? He didn't even touch the weed himself. He was arranged for somebody to bring 14 pounds and drive it across the country. And I got Chuck on the phone. I excused myself. I went out to the hallway. I talked to him, and this is like one of the most beautiful human beings that I know, who has spent his whole life like fixing people's cars, usually for free, writing songs, playing guitar, and selling a little bit of weed. And he's not a whiner at all, right? So I got him on the phone. I'm talking to him. It's the middle of winter in Pennsylvania. And what is he talking about? He's not complaining about what's going on for him in that cell, okay? He's not even really complaining, right? But he's expressing his sadness that his mother, who's in her late 70s, doesn't have anyone to shovel the snow for her, right? And I'm looking around this table and I'm going, my God, 14 pounds of weed? We're talking about 14 tons of weed. Nobody around this table is at all worried about ever going to prison for it, right? And so it struck me that there was first like this compelling moral imperative, right? How could we possibly imagine creating intergenerational wealth while we allowed other people to sit in prison for doing exactly the same thing? So that struck me first. And then I was like, but what an opportunity that we have, right? What an opportunity that the cannabis industry has to embody the principles and the lessons that this plant teaches us. And part of what this plant teaches us is to care about each other and to care for each other and to make sure that everybody is all right. And so that's what we're doing with the Last Prisoner Project. And this is a problem that is global in scope. I've been traveling all around the world to places that cannabis freedom is beginning to break out. And in almost every case, the people who are still in prison are being forgotten. You know, there's a lot of excitement about building a new industry, and there's a lot of conferences going on. But I go to Jamaica, I go to Colombia, I go to Spain, I go to all these places, and there's still people in prison, and there's not much realization of that. So that's what we're doing with LPP.